live. Okay, we're live finally. Hopefully everybody can hear us this time. This technology should be easier to use, but it doesn't always work right. So guys, anyway, I am here with the great SPB, Sean Precious Bullion. He is our platinum expert in the stacking community.
Woo.
And I'm Stacking Surfer. You can refer to me as Surfer. You can call me by my real name, Jared. Either way, I don't care. And back here, we've got the airport, which is really cool.
Nice.
So I have been sitting in this place for 6 hours, and I thought I'd hurry and just do a quick live stream. So since none of you are watching yet, and we just put this on, we'll give a little commentary to begin with here, and then we're going to jump into the subject for those that are starting to stream on here. So just a quick reminder for anybody that watches this. Tomorrow I have a live stream coming up with Don Kagan. And he's from Kagan Enterprise, and we're going to be talking about Spanish gold. So, the Spanish doubloon coins that have just come out recently, he was involved in that whole process, which is going to be really interesting. You guys are going to want to stick around and definitely hear that. So if you haven't done so, go to my channel, go to the live tab, and look for that video that's coming tomorrow, or that live stream that's coming tomorrow, and hit notify me. And that'll notify you when it's coming up. And if you haven't done so already, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you're aware of other videos that we have coming out. And then also hit that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. All right. So Amy, good to have you here. We're going to stream just for you, Amy. So
all for you.
So I'm at the airport right now. I've been kind of stuck in the airport all day here, and I decided I'll finally try to do this new vertical format. We've tried a couple of those videos. And I wanted to try bringing a guest on. So we've got Sean Precious Bullion here. And he's kind of my go-to guy when it comes to platinum. And we got Yankee dropping in too. Hey, Yankee, we're live from the airport. So we want to talk about a couple different things that are on there. I will admit my thumbnail is a little bit of clickbait, guys. There are some things we want to talk about around platinum. Will it hit 4,000? I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. Will it happen? We don't know. We don't know when it's going to happen. I also want to talk about what just happened to silver. We just saw silver drop 3.5% this day, right?
Yeah.
Boom. That was a huge drop. And we saw gold barely move, but we saw gold hit a new all-time high yesterday, at least nominally. So we're going to hit all three of those subjects today. And really what I want to do in this new format, trying it vertical like this, is it's a little bit quicker. We can see the chat really well. It's really more of an interactive format. So I want to see what questions you guys have. If you can type them in all caps, that'll be easier for us. If not, just put it in the comment section there, and we'll try to get your questions answered as best we can. So just another quick reminder, tomorrow I've got a live stream coming up with Don Kagan. We're going to talk about Spanish gold. So I know a lot of you have some of the Spanish gold coins that have come out recently. We're going to talk about where that's going. Are there going to be more coins, or is the series coming to an end? And then even more importantly, I want to get some of the genesis of it. I had an awesome opportunity at the Long Beach Coin Show to sit down with Don Kagan over dinner. He was so generous to take us out to dinner at Ruth's Chris. It was a great place. I will never turn down a Ruth's Chris steakhouse invitation. And anyway, we got to sit down and hear his story, how he got involved in precious metals. We were able to talk about his book. And we were also able to talk about what's happening with these coins. So I think there's a lot of great information you guys will enjoy tomorrow. So Yankee put it on here. Let me see if it'll let me. I'm going to pin Yankee's message on there because it isn't bad. So gold hit $2,482.29, guys. That's incredible. Nice. I don't know about you, Sean, but I started stacking gold specifically back in the end of, I guess, July of 2021. And if I remember correctly, I think it was in the $1,700 range. It might have been a little higher than that. And, it was something that my wife was totally cool with because she understands the real value of money. She knows that gold and silver are real money. That is money. That is what money is. That paper stuff we have, which I don't have any with me right now. I gave it all to my daughters that took off on a different plane. That stuff is just paper. It's not worth anything except for what someone might be willing to trade for it. Okay, so the federal government says it's worth something today, but there's no money value. There's no value in the currency paper itself, right? There's nothing there. So my wife understood that, and she was okay with me buying gold and silver coins. At some point, she wanted to know what happened to the checking account and the savings account because that kind of got drained, and I converted it to a different form. However, now she's pretty excited. I showed her the price of where gold is today, and I showed her how much of an increase we've had in value. Um, which the other scary thing is that's also pretty much how much inflation's kicked in, right? But I think gold's starting to catch up a little bit and adjust for that. I don't think we're at the point where it's really gone above the inflation rate. I think it still has some more room to go. I'm going to probably say in my calculations, it needs to get closer to like $2,800 to $3,000 an ounce before it starts going above the inflation adjusted rate. Um, but that's kind of the thought on what's happening with gold, guys. I think it's pretty cool. So let me see if you have any questions for me in here. Maybe not yet. Let's see. Smack the like button. Yes, hit the thumbs up, guys. Also hit subscribe and the bell icon. On this format, the cool thing with hitting the thumbs up, you just double tap the screen, and it'll automatically do a thumbs up for you. We got Randy Matthews in the house. We're going to call people out real quick here. Sean, we got Amy and Robert Clark and Amy Harrell in the house. Yankee Stacking in here. Annie Oakley, 777. JMac 115A versus JMac 115B. We like the A better.
You need the B plan.
Yep, I think so. We've got Gerald Draper in here, who's been a great follower recently and probably for a long time. Gerald, I don't know how long you've been watching. Randy Matthews, he keeps me up at night with some really intriguing questions. So
oh my God.
I do my best to answer them as I can, and he's still trying to figure out if I'm a chill guy or if I'm kind of a nutcase. So we're having fun with that. UFO, no joke, in the house as well, aka 47. UFO. So we know what you're stacking. We've got Jim in here, Cypher's in here, Chet Stacker, welcome. Michael Stacking, we love when Michael shows up too. So we've got you guys in here. So Yankee has a question for us. So we're going to pose this to both of us here, Sean. If Trump wins, I'm guessing we're going to see some tariffs, maybe even a tariff war with the likes of China. My question, what does that do long-term to commodities? Well, my first thought on that is if it's going to be more expensive for us to import raw materials, I believe it's going to cause those commodity prices to go up significantly. At the very least, by the amount that the increases in the tariffs, which I think it's 100% that he's talking about.
Yeah.
On these tariffs. So that could be a doubling of at least the raw material costs, not necessarily the cost to mint things. So, what is that going to do to the U.S. Mint? I don't know. That could be really crazy. We could see some insane premiums come on things like silver eagles and gold eagles and buffaloes. So yeah, that's a good point, Yankee. We don't really mine silver and gold here in the United States. Most of it's getting mined either up in Canada, which we may not have very large tariffs on. So that might be one thing that helps us, but that tends to be a portion of it, right? We do have stuff that's mined up in Alaska too. But we do have a lot of countries south of us, as well as China produces a lot of gold too. So that could definitely cause some issues there. Where it could cause even bigger issues potentially is on rare earth minerals. So those are the things that go into car batteries and into your cell phone batteries. Same with lithium coming out of Chile. So it really just depends on which countries get hit with the tariffs and if we hit 100% or not. What I would say, though, Yankee, is I'm okay with having more tariffs if I can reduce my income tax. I'm not a fan of income tax. I'm not a fan of any kind of taxation on production. I'm more of a either, I don't even want to say flat tax. I don't even like that idea too much. I'm more of a consumption tax guy. I'd like to pay the taxes based on what I consume and what I use versus my production. Okay, so Neophyte Stacker, welcome as well. Do you think silver will continue to run? What really changed since January that the spot price increases to what it is now? So I'm going to give that one to you, Sean. What do you think?
Look what's happened the last couple of months. I mean, you got all this, tension still over in the Middle East. I mean, they just try to assassinate the elect the Republican Party. There's this. I think also it's just people are really realizing now that that the metals, like you said, are real money. I think people during the 2020 to 2022 years who were still kind of on the fence kind of either decided to jump over or stayed on their side of the fence. And just as more and more of these videos on YouTube are starting to surface from people. People are starting to start their own channels, just spreading the word, just building this awesome community. By the way, just give all you all a pat in the back. Everybody here, you guys are just awesome. Um, Everybody contributes in their own way, and I'm appreciative of all you all. Anyway, back to the medals. It is real money. Article 1, Section 10 of our Constitution says so that our money must be made of metals. It wasn't until they did some stuff back in the 30s and even back in the 1800s, actually, with this country and turned into like corporate stuff. But anyway, I think that the monies will always be real money in everybody's eyes eventually. Fun fact, you take the word silver in English and translate it into Hebrew, it means of money. So people say that and they say, oh,
There you go.
God declared gold and silver as our money. I mean, you can go back to where gold is the sun, silver is the moon. I mean, always going to be money. I tell everybody, whether if you believe in him or not, gold and silver has been around since Christ walked the earth and will be here after. It was even here before him. Some of the oldest gold coins carbon date back to like 900 BC in like Mesopotamia, like Turkey area. And
Yep.
since his time on this earth, there've been multiple kingdoms that have been in charge of this earth, if you will. Everybody from the Asian Empire to the European Empire to now North America and us. They've all had different names under different rulers, under different ethnicities, under different races who called their money different things and traded in spices and meat and everything under the sun. But every single one of the kingdoms all had gold and silver in their vaults. And we have
they
gold and
did, and
silver in our vaults too.
and you don't create gold and silver out of nothing. It's created inside supernovas.
You got to go get it.
So you got to blow a
mine.
star up. Well, but you got to
Yeah.
blow a star up first to create it, and then you have to have a planet that coalesces around all of that stardust. That's how you get gold and silver, and then it's got to be in an upper level of the crust. So you've got to have a planet that has molten cores that bring it up to the surface, and then you've got to have people that understand how to use it and mine it. And the materials just have such great properties to them. Silver's pretty much the shiniest metal, unless you start talking to all the Neil and all those guys about osmium, then they'll say that's shinier. But for the most part, silver is the shiniest metal, and then you've got gold that has the ability to not corrode, and it has the ability to. Both of them have ability
Very
to.
interesting property.
Yeah, they have very good properties.
You drop it in the middle of the ocean and bring it up like 400 or 500 years later, it still holds color. It's amazing to me how it does that. You throw steel or aluminum in there, come up, you touch it, it'll get you tetanus. Now you gotta get a $500 shot from the doctor, save your life. Where they're using silver and stuff in like medical and stuff because it's sterile. It's interesting properties these metals have, non-magnetic and stuff. It's interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
It's true. So I want to give a quick shout out to Yankees channel too. If you guys aren't following him, I think all of you are. But Yankee's been a great mentor to me with putting this channel together. Gerald Draper mentioned that's when he first saw me. Yankee did put me on the map, so I want to thank Yankee for that. Amy mentions the inflation number being 12% last year. I'm going to say it was over 20% last year, from what I could see. Maybe even as high as 25%. And a lot of the things that I buy on a regular basis were actually 100% inflation. We've seen it go up over 100%.
That's my soapbox. I'm going to try to stay off of. And they create these numbers out of thin air. Oh, inflation's only up 7.5% today. Oh, last year compared to last year's numbers, it was 6%, but now it's 4.5%. We actually moved it down to 4.25. You're going to project it to be 5.45 for you. Like, shut up. Like, maybe in y'all's reality of like the elite, maybe those are your numbers. But talk to your constituents and people like us. That's not our numbers, people. So that when I hear all these like this psyop of lies, they go through the MK Ultra, the TV. I hate it.
They do. It's the CPI index, right? The CPI index gets
crazy
changed all the time.
How much is gas going up? How much is your grocery bills, your electric bills? Everything it's way more than 7.5%, people. So let's talk in numbers where the real people of America. But that's the thing, because if they actually started talking the real numbers and on the news, people would actually kind of start to panic a little bit more, because reality would start to be more in their face instead of Netflix and chilling and video games.
Well, but Sean, to that point, I think that's one of the reasons there's multiple reasons they keep shorting silver so heavily. The big banks do. But one of the reasons to do it is they want everybody to believe that the economy is okay, that the money is still worth value. If we saw silver go up to 100, up to $300 right now, you'd have people freaking out and unloading their dollars. I guarantee you, the crypto people would be buying gold and silver like hand over fist if they started to see those numbers jump. Another comment that's in here too that I think is good, Sean, is this is from Keg. What are your thoughts on when the platinum to gold ratio will reverse the trend from the all-time lows? So, Sean, why? First off, why do you think platinum's lower than gold is right now? We've already covered on a
They're
few of
doing
our videos that platinum technically is a more expensive metal than gold, at least according to the U.S. Mint, because they have a higher denomination on it. They have 100 versus 50 for gold, so for 1 ounce coin. So why do you think platinum is below gold right now, and what would it take to get platinum to start moving higher as far as the ratio goes?
I think they're, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not an expert, just to put it out there for the YouTube, just whatever, just a guy that knows a little bit about something. Anyway, if I'm just going to say this, I think that they're kind of playing with the platinum market like they're playing with the silver market. What I mean by that is, like, they're purposely keeping it low. They're not, it's not reflecting its true value. If I'm pretty sure that the United States mints have stopped making their platinum eagles, so that's something that's to be watched about. The fact that most all the mining's done in not in our continent, and most of the people that have the operational management of those mines are not us. They're talking Green New Deal and all this other crazy stuff, but anyway, it's always going green. They're going to require platinum and fusion batteries and stuff. I think it's
so. Let me stop you for a second. So, Sean, what I hear from you is it's production. It's a strong economy. It's we're building more things versus if we go into a recession and you're building fewer EVs, if you're building, if we don't bring about the fusion cars or we don't bring about as much production that's being done. Because in my book, I agree with what Yankee said. I see platinum as a base metal, not as a monetary metal, even though it technically is minted by many countries. It really has not been used as anywhere as long as gold and silver has as a monetary metal you go back and forth on. And so I think the reason it would go up is we're starting to move into another boom time. So we're starting to see production go up. We're starting to see prosperity go up. So in my opinion, if you're buying platinum right now, it's because you want a long-term hold, and it's because you want to add the metal to your stack, and you believe it's going to go up quite a bit. If you don't believe it's going to do a couple X increase on that, 2 to 4X increase, I'd probably stay away from it. If you have not hit your goals around gold and silver stacking, I would stay away from platinum in my book.
absolutely.
Now, maybe you mess around with a 10th ounce or not, but I did buy my first 2 ounces of platinum recently. And I'm going to hold on to those, and that's it. That's all I'm doing is 2 ounces, and part of it is just to kind of hold on to it and see what happens. So for me, it's more of an experiment, and I have the ability to do that. Another quick question for you, Sean, and also for me here is, how will Trump's presidency affect precious metals? Yankee, just a shout out, mentioned that he's got a video coming out this weekend. And then quick 2 shout outs. I want to thank Amy and also Tiger Stacking that's in here for your guys' super chats. Thank you. And just like Yankee does, I think it's a great idea. Anytime we hit $100 in super chats or in memberships, I will go ahead and give out a silver ounce as well. And that's for every $100 we hit. So we'll always do that. But let's go back to the question. So if we have a Trump presidency right now, we're seeing, and I'm just going to throw this out there, the crypto markets are going crazy right now because the new vice president pick is bullish, or at least not anti-crypto. And Trump has talked about potentially having some bullish thoughts on Bitcoin. Now, I don't know Trump's thoughts on gold and silver, but as far as I know, it hasn't really changed. He still sees that as money. He still sees it as value. I think the crypto is just a hotter topic, and they've hit that. But I'm not sure he's come out and said anything specifically about a gold-backed currency or anything to those degrees. Maybe you guys can add that in the chat if you know. But Sean, what do you think will happen if Trump is president? Will precious metals go up, or will they go down in value?
I think it really all depends on what he does and why he's in office. I don't want to get too political and talk about the man and stuff. I'm just going to stick to the metals personally. If the economy starts really turning around and it's things get better than they have been. Um, I could see the metals possibly falling because the inflationary rate is probably getting in a better position. But I think it's going to take, personally, it's going to take a miracle, in my opinion, for it to get changed. That's just my thoughts. Um, but if also could affect not only what him being in the office, but what other world countries also decide to do while he's in office. Um, if things get a little bit more screwier than they have been, the metals could just keep going up. If inflation keeps going up and they can't seem to correct it, it's just, unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball. So I'm just going to kind of say this for everybody, because I think that this is probably something that should be said personally, and I'm willing to say it live on camera right now. And thanks everybody for dealing with me if my mic doesn't sound too well. I'm not like professional on this
It's okay.
stuff.
It's okay.
Just a guy, just a guy. Anyway, I think people get lost in what the price is now and what the price can be in the future. I think the fact that people are just stacking precious metals, whether it be gold or silver or even dipping a little platinum, I think what you're doing is a great thing, and you're literally part of a small percentage of the population of this planet that is doing that. And again, what you're doing basically is that you're taking your hard-earned wealth that you've worked, however how long you've worked for, you saved it diligently for and been very smart about it, and you're putting away in metals. I always tell people to do it at your own pace. Don't try to compete with people that have these beautiful gold displays on the YouTube and stuff like that. Wow, there's nothing wrong with that, but don't spend your entire money and then leave yourself cash poor at the end of the month to pay bills. Against that, at your own pace. I think the fact that I'm guilty of it too. You buy some silver, you buy some gold, and the next day it drops like 1%, 2%. And you're like, oh man, you should have waited a day. And you go through all the what ifs. I tell people it doesn't matter. That is irrelevant, because you had definitely had no intentions on selling it or whatever. You decided to make that decision right then and there and be happy with it. But here's what I'm going to say: be happy in the fact that you own that. And owning precious metals, in my opinion, is a highly underrated thing, because life happens, people. It's happened to me several times. It happened to me recently. I won't go into it, but there are times where life happens and you got to come up with a large sum of money in a quick amount of time. Emergency bill at the hospital, someone, is in trouble, whatever, you're trying to help somebody out. You have to literally realize that by having it, you have a safety net now. So that instead of having to like go to the bank and plead your case and try to get a loan and go through all the paperwork and maybe thinking about getting a phone call 24, 48 hours later just to tell you, sorry, Mr. Johnson, sorry, Miss Kathy, we can't approve you of your loan. It's a safety net that you have, that when you need it, it's there. Now,
so Sean, just to kind of
it's
reiterate
always
that
going
real
to
quick.
one more thing.
Yeah.
It's always going to go up and to the right. You go back 20 years from now, 10 years from now, even last, it's all going to go up and to the right. There's going to be downs, there's going to be highs, but either way, that chart is going to be continuously up and to the right. And if you're stacking it for future purposes, it's great to just let it build. It's like creating your own little squirrel stash that you don't have to kind of bite into unless you absolutely have to. So just be happy stacking precious metals. Whatever happens during the Trump presidency of the price of metals, we'll just have to find out in the next 4 years. But just, I know I'm rambling, but just keep going. Just keep stacking, everybody. Don't get discouraged.
Yep.
If you got to sell some of those metals and you took a chunk, I've had to sell, full disclosure, I had to sell like 20 ounces of gold recently to cover an expense. Took basically a large sum of my stack out of me, but it can always get rebuilt. But it was there for when I really
But here's
needed
the
it.
thing, though. You also, I know that you bought that a lot lower than the price you sold it at.
Oh, it's definitely what I sold it at for when I bought it for. It's all more, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the deal, guys. Look, gold and silver is the money, okay? The fiat dollar is the currency. And so I don't recommend buying gold and silver as an investment, meaning that you're buying it because you believe the price is going up as an investment. Um, you might believe the price is going up because we're going to continue to have inflation, but we're not always going to have these inflation rates. Okay, at some point, a president's going to come along. Hopefully, it's the next president. Hopefully, it's Trump that comes along if he's the next president, which it looks like he's going to be the next president, and he can stabilize it to what Sean was talking about. If he can stabilize the amount of inflation that's going on, and there's ways that he can do that. Some of those are more painful than others. And it depends on what he's handed and what he's going to have to do to stabilize that. But when he goes to stabilize that, you're not going to see gold and silver running as much um, on a regular basis. Okay, you could see it overshoot the inflation rate. You could see it take a multiple for other reasons. But as far as adjusting to inflation, you can look at the charts. That's typically what happens. So Yankee mentioned a couple things in here that I believe are true too. So from what it looks like is happening right now, is it looks like we're potentially going into a recession. Okay, we did have technically a recession last year when we had 2 quarters of negative GDP, and then it switched and it came back. We started printing a bunch of money, and then they changed the indices, and it screwed everything up. The reality is we're still printing money. Every 100 days we spend, I think it's another $1 trillion, which is nuts. So we're spending like 1.8 trillion more than what we bring in tax dollars. The answer is not to tax us more, okay? Because we're not going to actually be able to do that. You're going to cripple the country if you do that. And the answer is not to go spend more or print more money so that you can pay that. The answer is to stop spending so much. And so what my hope is the next president will come in and stop spending so much. But in the meantime, we could end up seeing a housing correction or a crash. We could see a stock market correction or crash. We could also see a crypto crash as well. I know people think that's not going to happen and it's the safest asset out there. A lot of people will say that stuff, but there isn't anything that's underlying there. It's really the promise of lower interest rates, which is keeping that up, plus potentially some of the politicians having more favorable laws be written soon. But if you see a stock market crash, if you see a housing crash, I'm pretty sure you're going to see a crash in the cryptos too. A lot of it has to do with the way people do it on margin. They borrow against different assets to shore it up. They'll have to sell it in order to pay for other lending that they've basically done, maybe in a short way to put it. Precious metals, I don't think you're going to see that same thing. And so most likely, if those scenarios do happen, what you're going to see is that the Fed is going to start to lower interest rates down, down, and down. And if we have something that gets out of control, they'll take it back down to zero. And when that happens, you're going to see the metals open up and you're going to see the price skyrocket. You'll probably see some of the other commodities go up too. But those are the dynamics that are going to happen. So in my opinion, you don't buy gold and silver because of that. You buy gold and silver because you're worried about the value of the dollar and because you realize it's real money. And you want to have real money for your savings, okay? Now, I don't recommend you take everything out of the markets. I don't recommend you go sell your house and take all your cash and put it all into gold and silver and put it in a safe. I don't think that's smart either. That doesn't generate income for you. It doesn't generate yield. And there's many better ways you can do that. But as far as a solid foundation, Sean was just describing here, he had to sell some to be able to shore things up. I know for a fact, because I've talked to him about the numbers, had he just held dollars that whole time, it would have been more of a bigger burden than if he was converting his gold. And that's one of the things I think gold is good for is emergency situations like that. Silver has too high of a premium. I don't think you could have recovered your premium if you were selling silver to do that.
No.
But gold, you can. That's my guess. So, okay, so let's see do you guys have any other questions on platinum while we've got Sean on here? So yeah, hit that thumbs up. I keep being told by people that they don't always see the chat. I guess you're either watching on TV or listening to it when you're not looking at it, but hit that thumbs up. Good to have you, Azure Blue.
Me, I'm looking down at the chat here. I just don't want to talk over you. I don't want to be a rude guest. There's no offense to anybody that's out there. I don't want to walk on anybody's toes, but I just feel there's a lot of people just talking over one another, waiting for their turn to speak instead of really just having a conversation, if you dig.
So, there's we got a comment in here, Sean, about BRICS.
The BRICS.
There's also a comment about CBDC. So I am like 99%. We already sure we have a CBDC ready to go. We know that FedNow is in place. I think they're just waiting for the right time to release a CBDC. They know people are not willingly going to take it unless there's a catastrophe. So that's my guess is we won't see a CBDC until there's a catastrophe. Now, depending on who's president, we may never see a CBDC. We may see some other kind of digital currency that's backed by commodities. So I think with the current administration, if there's a calamity and they really want to push it, I think you'll see a CBDC. If something crazy happens next year, I could see, or maybe even a more progressive idea, I think you could see a cryptocurrency be created that's backed by commodities. Either way, the push is going towards more digital currency. You may not realize it now, but unless you're paying with a paper dollar, you're already using a digital currency. It may just not be on the blockchain, so it may not be, a cryptocurrency, but it's a digital currency. So the other thing I'm encouraging my family to do a little bit more of, and myself, is use cash where I can, where they'll still take it. I want to kind of keep it flowing and using it. I don't know if the picture will come up. Let me see if I can show you this other picture. But I'm here at the airport right now. You guys can see. I don't know where all the planes are.
They're up in the air.
There's no planes, but there's a lot of places to park them. But anyway, I was at a restaurant and they said they have no change. You have to use exact change because of the currency. Let's see, is it going to pull up here? They're basically saying we're having a currency shortage. So I don't know if any of you heard anything about that, but I thought that was really interesting. I took a video of it, and it hasn't synced to my iPad yet, so I won't be able to show it. But it basically said no change, use exact dollars. We don't have any change. And so that's kind of interesting. I'm wondering if anybody's heard about that. Are we not creating any more change? No cash in many airports, Yankee brings up. The planes are on the beach. Tiger, I don't know what you guys do out on the East Coast, but they don't park planes on the beach here. But I guess there's one right behind me. That's why it's kind of loud. That's funny. All right, Craig says, bullion being that the car industry is low on parts for all makes and models, and that the platinum is used for spark plugs, catalytic converters, etc. Do you see platinum rising soon for that? It depends on the supply and demand. If there is a lack of supply and there's more demand, then yes, you'll see prices go up. Platinum doesn't seem to be a metal that's as heavily manipulated as gold, and it's definitely nowhere as manipulated as silver. But a lot of this manipulation you guys see in price really comes down to, there you guys go, there's a plane coming in.
There's one.
It's going to get loud for a second. It really comes down to keeping the commodity at a low price so that they can do what they want to do with it, number one. And number two, making it look like the economy is doing better than it is. Okay. And then number three, they're playing it on the derivatives market. So don't think that they're losing money by shorting silver. They're making money in other areas. They might be making it in the gold purchases that the central banks are doing. So they always figure out how to make money. Bankers are not stupid. Well, they're foolish, but not stupid. Let's see here. So Neil's making a point here.
Sorry, I got bad eyes here.
Yeah, ironworkers.
Cranky stacker. Yeah, about the medical. Yeah, platinum's used in the medical industry. Yeah, it's used in chemotherapy treatments. It's interesting tidbit of facts, actually. Part of the ingredients apparently in the cocktail they give you for like chemotherapy treatments, apparently.
Yeah, in chemo there's always platinum in there. So I don't know how much is in there, but it is in there. And let's see. So I did put a poll out just a few minutes before I started the live stream too, guys. Always remember this: you cannot eat platinum, gold, or silver. Okay, to survive, you can't do it. You have to have water storage. If some of the things that we all talk about could happen here soon, you're probably not going to want to leave and go to the store for a period of time. So it's great. It's a good idea to have water storage, food storage, so you don't have to leave. I personally recommend having extra food around that you will eat on a regular basis, and rotate that on an annual to every 24-month basis. And then get long-term storage for more of that true SHTF where maybe we don't have food for a year and you have a big issue. But make sure you're getting that stuff. You've got to have that. The other big one is is lead, copper, and powder. Okay, you want those things because the price of that crap is always going up. And you need to have as much of that as you feel you need to have. Okay, I'll leave it at that. But if you're stacking that stuff, make sure you've got a fair amount of it. Like silver to clean your tongue. Uh, you know, I'm not going to recommend that, but there may be products out there. Don't choke on a silver eagle, guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that for the likes, the gram. Also, there's something to add to that little list of supplies to get for your while you're stacking. I always tell people it's always good to have a little bit of like vegetable and fruit seeds around too, and stack those and stuff. So you can kind of grow your own stuff, and that in itself can even be used as a bartering tool as well. If you think about it.
Yes. Yep.
So just something, and it's you'll have a continual supply of food, so where eventually it's your supply chain itself is out there that you go to is gone. You at least have a abundance of seeds and things that you can grow that yield seeds itself behind it, to where as long as you keep the crop rotation going, you'll never starve.
I agree. And so the other thing too, Sean, I think to look at is this: when you guys are stacking, at least for me, we tend to.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
No, I should be back. Okay.
There he is. He's back.
So try to.
You'll get it. Don't worry. Uh-oh. The aliens took him. Bring him back. Hey, bring him back. Get him. Bring him back. Put him back in the spot. You don't need to take him. Where'd he go? Uh-oh. UFO's no joke. They took him. We need call him back. Phone a friend. Phone home. ET. Somebody phone them. Yankee, I know you got friends up there. Call them up, bro. Tell them to come back. Hey, we want to no probes. No, we got enough of. Wait, there he is. I see his smiling face. He's coming back. Surfer's back. Come on and back. We need him again. Oh wait, it's coming. The juice is loose. Juice the freaking YouTube squeeze. Squeezing the juice. Squeeze the juice.
Oh man, can you hear me?
I hear you, but you got like an awesome thumbnail smile as your thing. But
so
it works.
We're gonna end the stream right now. I've got some daughters stranded over in San Francisco on their way to another location. I've got to get them tickets real quick. So
that's a real SOS.
I guess their group didn't do it. So guys, I want to thank you for the live stream, for jumping on. Thank you for the super chats.
Thanks everybody.
And tomorrow, check out my live stream that's coming up in the afternoon with Don Kagan, and we'll go from there. Sean, thank you for jumping on. Everybody, peace out. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.